Welcome to Jerry's Fish Room.
All right, guys, welcome back to Jerry's Fish Room. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm sitting here in front of the 55-gallon discus tank now, as you were aware from previous videos. The 180 is getting broken down, and that is going to get given over to Brandon, the blind fish keeper. We've made a deal, and so I'm going to break that down, finish breaking that down. I still have a few more fish in there today, but I wanted to just give you just a real fast update on this 55-gallon tank and kind of maybe just a snippet of some of the stuff that I did to break that 180 down. All right, so let's get started. All right, guys, so this is the 55-gallon, a good look at it with me in front of it. Just to give you a quick update where this sits. I have four Stenker discus. One, I believe, is a German discus from the original place I bought it, but four of these guys are the Stenker discus. I did lose one last night, which I kind of expected. He's been, he's been eating but never putting any size on, always looking very, very thin. I've treated him a couple of times for parasites. Just don't know what happened. It's a similar problem I've had with a couple of other discus with the wasting away. And then again, like I said, treating for parasites, but with not a whole lot of luck. So anyway, and then the little guy that you see, the real small blue one right there in the front, twice I've had to treat him for either some sort of a swim bladder or bloat or dropsy, or I'm not sure exactly what, but twice I've found him, once laying on his side at the bottom of the tank when he was in the 180, pulled him out, threw him in a 20-gallon, treated the tank with Epsom salts. About a day later, he was absolutely fine. Then I'd say about 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, I came in here. He was in this tank, and he was basically head down. I mean, literally just 90 degrees from where he's sitting right now, up under one of the plants. Looked like he was struggling. So pulled him out again, threw him back in the 20-gallon quarantine tank, treated him with some Epsom salts, and about a day later, again, he seems to be fine. So now these fish are all eating well, other than the size being kind of small. They all seem to at least have some thickness to them, so they seem to be fairly healthy. Again, not sure where this is going to go from here. Really, if I look at these fish, I would say 3 of the 5 that are left are really solid. So I expect hopefully a long time with them. These other 2, they may not grow any bigger, but as long as they don't kind of waste away like the last one did, hopefully I'll have them in here. It's been 2 weeks since they've all been in here. I've also added in this tank some of the Rasbora, I've added some Rasbora that I got from Consolidated Fish Farms. And then I've added the Ember Tetra from the discus tank, along with some neons. And then I think I got a couple rummy nose in here as well. Kind of just grabbed them up, got what I could to throw in here. I still have probably 25 or 30 fish in here, or in the 180 that needs to be taken out. So I'll be breaking that tank down today, at least getting it down low enough to get the rest of the fish out of here, as we are ready to move that tank next weekend to Brandon, the blind fish keeper's house. So this is kind of where it's at. You can tell I've got a lot of plants in here. I don't know a lot about plants other than I know that I have some crypts. I don't know what the stem plants are that I have. If you guys do, leave a comment. Greatly appreciate it. And then I've got 3 Amazon swords in here. And just trying to really fill this tank up with a lot of plants to help with nitrates and again, just give it that good look. You can tell the fish are moving around pretty good. They're pretty solid. The other thing I did was, I think it's an inkbird. I'll take you right over here. I added the inkbird in there. I know that the video right now shows the numbers are flashing, but that's not really the case. I did have this inkbird on that tank to start with, but since I'm breaking the 180 down, I ended up taking that one off last night, moving it over here, so I got a good display that I can see that my heaters and everything are working. One of the benefits from breaking the 180 down, besides a lot less work and a lot less money trying to fill it up with fish, is I have an FX4 on there. So I'm going to be moving that over to my 125 South American tank with my Oscar. I'm going to break that Sun down or Aqua top. I'm not sure which one I have left. Including that in the package that I'm selling um, to Brandon. And I'm going to be running nothing but FXs on my big tanks. In this tank right now, as you can see, I have sponge filters. I think I have a 300 watt heater that's hooked to that inkbird. I have I think it's a Higer light on it as well. And basically don't plan on doing anything more than what I have right now, especially from the filtration standpoint with 2 sponge filters. As you can tell, there's a lot of water movement at the top, so oxygen in this tank, especially at 84, 85 degrees, won't be a problem. It is a little noisy. You get the blip, 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 blip effect. And but that's okay. I use this room for kind of my office and do some studying and some reading, and sometimes just come in here, chill out on my chair, and turn on a little music and just stare at the fish. So not so much bothered by that noise. I know some people do, and I know some people say that sponge filters are ugly, but the reality of it is, if you put enough plants and stuff in them, in the tank and some rocks, you can kind of cover most of them up. And the nice thing is this tank, or this stand that I have, try to pull back, you can see, so there's 2 tanks down there on the bottom. They are also powered by sponge filters. There's 2 over in the right hand tank, the 20-gallon long. There's a small one over in the left. I've got 2 in that 55, and I have 1 up in that dark shrimp tank. You're getting a lot of that brown water, which is that tannins. So I have 5 sponge filters actually working. Actually 6 sponge filters, excuse me, working on this. And I have a Higer pump, air pump underneath. There, you can see a couple of the cords. And then I also have a it's the really quiet blue ones. I can't think of the name of them, but it's a 2-port air pump as well. Tetra. It's the Tetra air pump. So it's nice, keep things consolidated, so I like the air on this one. I don't know that I'm going to change anything right now in it. I'm going to run this for a while, see how things go. But this is kind of where we're sitting with this 55. All right, guys, so here we are at the 180 for the final time. As you can tell, I still have some embers in there and a few rummy nose, a few neons. So the plan is, and some plants, is get all of those out of there. Starting the process now of draining the tank down. I'm going to take a net and I'm going to scoop a lot of this duckweed out, and then take the duckweed and put it actually in my Severum tank. I found that they really, really like that, and it doesn't last very long. So I'm going to try to get the most use out of everything. As you can tell, if you look closely down in here, you will see some assassin snails. There are probably, I don't know, hundreds of those. So plan is I'll find a place to put them all. I'll scatter them in my tanks. There's another really good shot of several of them. Get them in the tanks to try to help keep any of the little pest snail issues down. Assassins are one of my favorite looking snails, besides the big mystery snails. And the plants I'm going to try to repurpose. I'm not sure what to do with these Anubias. as they got a lot of black hair algae on them, and it looks like to some degree the leaves have kind of taken some damage. So I'll probably just stick them in another tank for right now, since they're low light. Keep the lights off and see if I can't recover them. And then I got a bunch of crypts I've got to relocate, which I'll put some in the 29 gallon, and then I'm trying to keep a couple of nursery tanks going with some plants just for future projects. And so uh, we can say goodbye to this 180. Next week it gets a new home over to Brandon, the Blind Fish Keeper's fish room, and we will come back and I'll close this thing out.
Alright guys, so this is what I pulled out of my 180 after I get all my fish. I threw about 15 assassin snails in that tank, and because I love assassins and I hate pest snails. So one of the things I decided to do was throw some assassins in there, and 15 turned into this. But it's not just this. As I scroll down, you will see assassins all over the bottom of this tank, and I have them in other tanks. They all came from the original 15 that I threw in that 180. I'm not a pest snail fan, so ram's horns and those little pond snails and stuff, I'm not a big fan of them. I do know that they will keep your tank extremely clean, which is a good thing. But I just prefer a snail that looks a little bit, I don't know, nicer to me, in my opinion. And so I've got these, and basically going to distribute them amongst my tanks, because again, I don't mind seeing these guys in my tanks. I like these, and then mystery snails are another snail that I like. But to kind of just go through real quickly what I did. So as you can see, this is my 29 gallon. The algae that's over here on the left, or moss or whatever that is, that's going to come out. I didn't realize it's kind of things settled down. But I pulled out the Java fern over here to the left, that rock, I added it. And then again, I had the lava rock down here, and with a little piece of Anubias nanopetite. And then I have these red lily things that again, I'm not very good with plant names. They come out of a bulb. So the big one in there was one that I had over in a 55 gallon where the discus are now. I moved that one in here, and then this little guy back off here to the left, that one came out of the 180, as well as all of these crypts. They came out of the 180 as well. And then I took, and I wanted to segregate this up and make it look a little better. I've got some Velamax in the mail, so I'm waiting for that to come in. I'm going to put some Velamax on the back of this tank. There's enough space behind there for me to do that. But basically in this tank, I have two super red plecos, and then I have put the rainbows, as you can probably see down in there. The rainbows I had in the 180, and then as well as the ember tetras. And then I have a handful of cherry shrimp in here as well. And then of course hiding in here, there's about 3 or 4 Corydoras, and then I'll throw a few more of these assassin snails in here. This is the 29 dirted tank. I know a lot of people love them. I wanted to do it as an experiment, and quite frankly, it's too much work to break it down. So I'm going to keep it going. It's been up for about 8 months to 9 months now. Not as big of a fan of it as I'd like, as I thought I would be, but the reality of it is we'll see how these plants do in here, and maybe it's just not settled in enough, or I don't know. But so for now, the embers are in here, the rainbow, or excuse me, the rummy nose are in here, as well as the Corys that were from the 180. And again, I really kind of blew this up with some additional plants, as I wanted really to see a good full tank of plants. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps it up for this video. The 180, we've shut it down. Looking forward to the new things that are coming. A couple projects of aquascaping maybe in the future, but again, just trying to realize that balance that I talked about in the first of the year with my hobby. Be patient, be more patient, and just chill out, enjoy the fish. So guys, thanks for joining me this week. If you're interested in some community fish or some different fish, some of these fish I got are from Dan Connor, Consolidated Fish Farms, sponsor of my channel. Got a link in the description along with a discount code. Feel free to use that. Please like or subscribe. Let YouTube know that there's something good going on here. And most importantly, guys, I want to hear from you. Have you guys gone through a project where it didn't turn out the way you wanted to, or plans changed and you had to either break it down or completely do something different? Let me know. Tell me in the comments. I'm interested to hear your stories as well, and maybe I can learn something from you. So until next time, guys, thank you for joining me, and you know what's coming next. That's right, guys. Let's keep loving those fish, okay?